also have, I don't know why I'm doing this. Ooh. Hi guys, my name's Natalie and welcome to UpYourVlog. So I thought I'd explain why I haven't been posting vlogs up so often, but I have just been so busy with kind of settling into London and trying to find castings and stuff, which I will tell you about shortly. But yeah, I've been so busy that I haven't even been able to kind of edit my graduation vlogs as quickly as I wanted to, but those vlogs are now up online. You can see them. I did a video of graduation weekend and then of graduation week. I didn't take as many videos as I'd like to have taken, but I managed to get quite a few photos, and the videos that I did take were very special, and it made me miss being at university when I was editing it, which also kind of follows on to what video I am doing now at this very moment in time. But before I go into that, I have been applying to various castings over this summer and have managed to get commercials and infomercials and various other things, various exciting projects that are actually in the works at the moment. I went for an audition today actually for a short film, so fingers crossed for that. I'm part of a modelling agency now, and I've also got an interview for an acting agency on Friday, so fingers crossed with that as well. So today's video is going to be things that I would tell my teenage self, because I've been looking at a lot of videos at the moment, and especially with finishing university and reflecting on university life, I thought I'd do a things I would tell my teenage self video. So yeah. Here goes. Boom. The first thing that I tell my teenage self is to don't feel as if you have to fit in. This is probably mainly to do with school, high school, because it can be a tough time, and probably a lot of people who are watching this that are probably my age would know how high school is and how it feels to kind of try and fit in and find yourself and your own personality and find people who fit that personality as well that you'll get on with. And my main thing is to not feel as if you have to change to be friends with people, because ultimately you should have to feel and be yourself around people, and if they don't like you then that's their problem, because at the end of the day you can't impress everyone. So yeah, don't feel as if you have to change for anyone. Be yourself. Be confident, be happy. Another thing that I tell my teenage self would be to enjoy living at home, because living and paying your own rent and bills is boring. Ever since moving down to London, it has been fantastic, but I am starting to appreciate having lived with my parents and all the kind of things they did for me, like washing and ironing and cooking and just having food in the fridge and a nice warm home. And it's not that I haven't got that here, it's just that I'm having to pay for all that, and it's very expensive, especially in London. Very, very expensive. I would say to my teenage self to enjoy being young and carefree and living at home and not having to worry about bills and rent and other stuff that costs money, because everything costs money. One other important thing that I tell my teenage self is that boys are not aliens, or anyone that you are attracted to. They're not aliens. It's crazy. Like, I remember just being so nervous around boys and not being able to chat to them or engage in conversation, because I think they are different species when I was younger. I remember going to the cinema once with a boy, I can't remember his name. It was just the most scariest thing in the world, and I didn't enjoy going to the cinema and seeing whatever film I saw, because I was that nervous about being with a boy and holding his hand. My hands were all clammy and it was just the most terrible experience. Don't be so afraid of the opposite sex or whatever, you know, you're interested in, because at the end of the day, we're all human, we're all the same. That's what I'd say. Boys aren't aliens, Natalie. Kind of, yeah. Another thing that I tell my teenage self / young adult self would be to take driving lessons. I'm starting to realise that maybe taking driving lessons should have been done when I was younger, because a lot of the castings that I go for are touring based, so that requires you most of the time to be able to drive or have your own car. So I'm missing out on those sorts of castings. But at the same time, the reason why I didn't take driving lessons is because I wasn't in a position or need to want to drive. At high school, I'd always get a lift in with my mum. At college, I would always get the bus with my friend. And then at university I was in a small town and there was no need to get a car because you could reach everything within walking distance. And then London, obviously, it's not really ideal to have a car, but in terms of castings, it would have been good. Another thing that I'd say to my teenage self would be to have concentrated more in class and motivated myself to do more extracurricular things at school and at college. The main reason being is that I could have had a lot more kind of avenues to go down. Like, I was interested in science, but I never really concentrated enough to get the grades that I wanted. Everyone has the moment in class where they just switch off and it just becomes the hardest thing to do. If there was one thing I would say to my teenage self would be to just kind of try and find ways of motivating myself to concentrate, because the worst thing to have is that feeling of wishing you could have done better. So if I could tell my teenage self anything, or for people who are at school at the moment, concentrate, because it will pay off in the future, I promise you. I think one of the biggest things that I want to end on in this video is to tell my teenage self that, and this is kind of a personal thing for me, is that not to be so anxious about what you look like. So in terms of makeup, or in terms of hair, or in terms of wearing the latest trend, because a lot of the media, especially I realised at a young age, was that a lot of the magazines and the magazines aimed at younger girls and boys kind of had this, you must look like that, you must look like this, you must wear this perfume, you must wear your hair in this style, and it kind of makes you feel as if you should be doing that, and you should be, and it kind of made me feel as if I should be wearing that outfit, or, you know, starting to be interested in boys, or, you know, wearing a certain sort of makeup that was so expensive. I mean, taking care in your appearance is obviously a good thing, but in terms of the way it makes you feel, you shouldn't have to do something unless you want to do it. And I know that sounds very obvious, but when I was younger, I did feel that there was a lot of pressure from the media and from friends as well to look a certain way. So that's something that I think is a very current issue and theme regarding high school and just growing up, and I feel like it should be something that could be addressed by the media and certain magazines. But at the end of the day, on a personal viewpoint, I would tell my younger self just to be confident and know that you're beautiful inside and outside, without the need to have people critique or tell you what you should and shouldn't wear. Yeah. I hope you guys like my video. It took a bit of getting used to again because I haven't spoken to the camera for so long. But anyway, I hope you liked it. Please subscribe, please like, please comment, and I shall be getting back on to the weekly vlogs and videos and all that sort of jazz. So yeah, bye guys. Ooh. Another thing that I tell my now, and I'm now on to a more exciting chapter. Oh, exciting. Another thing that I tell my boom.
It only feels like yesterday when we both started university, and now
Stop.
we've left.
Stop.
We're no longer students.
Stop it now.
Oh, I feel as if I'm going to do like.
Why would I do that?
Why would I do that?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, Becky, no.
Are you kidding me? No.